No context. Just no context. Okay. We're gonna let in the tiny trickle of floodgates in. I don't expect people to just see this and... Oh well. Hey, it's time to play Megaman Starforce 2. And this time we're going with the kind of dragon... Oh. One moment.
Oh?
I forgot to update. Yay, it says Megaman Starforce 1 postgame instead of Megaman Starforce 2. Yay. Oh well. Okay, Zerker x Saurian. Because we wanted to do something dragon adjacent this time.
Yes.
Dinosaurs are dragons, right? Right?
Yeah, I just have to laugh how just the version differences are basically ninjas or dragons.
In the days of old, there was a tribe that wielded unimaginable power and conquered the land. With their sharp claws and teeth and their breath that was as flame, this tribe was known as Saurian.
Oi? Uwu?
It's a dinosaur in Japanese! Come on, why call it Saurian if it's just dinosaur? Also, they don't have the interesting arts they cycled through with the second game. We're not going playing as Berserker, we're gonna play as Saurian dinosaur. New game.
So is it like 4 versions of the games?
No, there's
Split
2.
between 2 then? Or... yeah.
There's 3 versions split across 2 games. So you've got Ninja x Zerker and Saurian x Zerker. Actually, it's Zerker x Saurian and Zerker x Ninja. I don't know why Zerker is first, but sure.
I'm just gonna nod and pretend I know what that...
I will set Zerker x Auto Brother. Oh, right, yeah.
So why is Zerker in both versions then? It's the same either way?
You can... That is the form. So, you pick the form you want to play as. So, right now I'm picking Dinosaur, and I can... I will leave it as a surprise what happens if you have a brother with a different type. Handle. Who are we... God damn it. Who are we going to... What are we going to name this? I did not think about
Galmon.
This. Galmon!
Yes. Guys, okay. Oh, you only have 10 capitals, fuck. Yes.
Tell me more about Galmon, please.
Young man or man?
Galmon's a grandpa. I'm joking.
Ugh. Ugh!
Uh-oh.
Ah!
Wait, what does boy look like then?
Oh, I know what it is.
Oh, there was no thoughts behind those eyes.
But yeah, it's just the sprites from the first game.
Still cost. I mean, if I came across them in a dark alleyway, I think I would also myself.
So, do we just do man? No, young man. Oh god, not yeah, this one. I think it's.
He looks the most normal from men category, so
yeah.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but each time I see this sprite, I just think of that dude with the RC helicopter, or from a different guy from this game.
Oh god.
He just looks like a certain kind of guy, you know, a guy who sports 8 days per week.
He's the sort of guy that would shop at Soup.
You didn't eat. Code Geass mention, okay. Also, you didn't catch what I was saying, I presume.
went to sports, did sports 8 days a week.
Yes.
Yeah, was a himbo.
Exactly. Got it. At first, the power-up default profile information will be used on your My Page to add blah blah blah. Yeah, that will be later.
Yes.
It is the year 220X. Owing to the rapid advances in wave technology, people are able to enjoy a life of ease and convenience. Geostellar is a 5th grader who lives in this future society. We're gonna get a recap. Also, gotta love the blank top screen.
I just love the void.
Geo lost his father in an accident a few years ago. The shock he felt at the loss caused him to rarely leave his room. Then one day, something quite unexpected entered young Geo's life. Glasses! That thing was... an alien with an EM body. The alien was called a Megaxis, and he had an offer for Geo. I'll tell you about your father if you let me use your body, kid. Please, not like that. Phrasing.
Yeah, please. Yeah. Oh.
And then the shy Geo and the aggressive alien merged together, and a new hero was born, known as Megaman. I think that's a new sprite. As fate would have it, the birth of Megaman coincided with a dangerous threat to Earth. Aliens known as FMians launched an attack on Earth. With Earth's fate in the balance, Megaman stood up against the FMians. Also, we now have 3 rules and an actual font in the second game. So the script is actually just, you know, filling the text boxes. Megaman risked his life.
Shocked. I'm shocked.
Megaman risked his life and battled to save Earth from the FMians. And the people of Earth lived in peace. However, unbeknownst to the people of Earth, that peace was about to end. The world is peaceful. For now. 2 months have passed since the battle with the FMians. I finally got it! It's been 2 whole months since I ordered it. Please don't look at the top screen.
Ghost Crisis?
Ghost Crisis. Also, they didn't upskill this. Huh.
Is Ghost Crisis some sort of game? So...
You seem extra happy today, kid.
Hi, Code.
So... Hey, Code. I just started. You haven't missed a thing. Geo got a package. That's it. We just came out of the the recap. I've been so looking forward to this. You have no idea. Unfortunately, I do, and I'm tired of hearing it. You've been antsy day and night for the past 2 months. Yeesh. Living with you is no cakewalk, kid. Hey! What do you mean? Yeah, it looks like you've been talking to yourself the whole time. What else can I do? No one can actually see the wave world. As you know. More action. That visualizer of yours is pretty amazing. Yeah, without it a person like me couldn't interact with an EM body like you, Mega. I'm glad I have it. I am telling you what is going on in this story. So the audience who isn't here knows.
Children's game.
Or sequel to the first game. Time to open up this package. Geo opened the package.
It's a bloody eel from the Mafia.
I really wanted one of these. Everyone in school is talking about them. Geo got the Star Carrier. What the heck is that? Did you buy a weapon or something? There you go again, always bringing up violent things. And this is why people hate Starforce 2. Ever heard of blenderization?
All too well.
Yeah. Remember the many times that Omegaxis brought up weapons in the first game? I don't.
Literally 0. I don't know, maybe it's a new... I don't know, maybe it's a new hobby he gained in the last 2 months.
I couldn't.
He's
I couldn't kill Cepheus, the FM king, so I just I just picked up a hobby of just turning everything into weapons.
Yeah, no, it's like it's like that YouTube channel, the Gun Expert reviews video game guns.
Oh, XP weapons.
Yes.
It actually started at IGN. And that is Jonathan Ferguson, keeper of the firearms in the goddamn what museum? That's a whole joke of always wrestling off his whole
Spiel.
spiel, yeah. But it's Jonathan Ferguson. That's the guy you're probably thinking of.
Yes. That is.
Okay, this is Star Carrier, new type of EM wave interface. It's pretty useful and has a lot of functions. You can use it as a TV phone. Who the fuck knows what a TV is in 200 years? Send mail and carry on data.
To be fair, TV phones were a thing at the time, I think.
Yeah. No, this is from...
In Japan. In only Japan?
This is from something like 2009, 2010. It's like the transfer I used to use, but better. Let's see, the instructions say I have to input my handle before I do anything else. Handle? It's like a nickname. It's a name you use to exchange the info. Is it just gonna be Geo? Okay. Yeah, okay, they skipped over that. Just like in the first game. Alright, what now? Hold on, gotta read the instructions first. Let's see. The Star Carrier comes with blah 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 in order to access the
Will actually
address
read
place,
instructions.
Browse. I do. I unironically read instructions to my stuff usually. Although these days the instructions are usually just quick start guides that don't help you in the slightest.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm just like, instructions for building a table, yes. For like using a tablet, not really.
Wow. It's right in front of your face. Okay, what else we got here? It says you can touch or hold the air display with your hands. Hey, try and grab it. Okay. Whoa! Whoa! He's stemming.
Gio, I do appreciate you joking off in the air.
Let him be, he's stimming. That's well made. You can control directly too. Hey kid, hurry up and finish reading the instructions. If you choose personal view, your personal data will be displayed. Okay, let's check it out. Okay, the game didn't do that, so I'm just doing an executive decision here. Oh, there it is.
Yes.
The personal view is for you, but you can also use it to share personal info with others. So it's like a business card or something? Let's try it out. Find someone you can show it to.
Wasn't this a thing in the original game? Why is this suddenly also a new thing?
This is just a new appliance he got.
We're asking him what person.
There's someone. Yeah, but I'm shy about talking to someone I don't know. Always ready to run away, aren't you? If you don't try it out, you'll never know how it works, right? I know. I'll show her my personal view, I guess. Oh, hi there. Bunny Amora. Best feature, clear skin. Oh, right. This profile thingy in the lower left, they had to truncate it so hard. Oh, hi there. Yes? Is this your first time using your personal view? Yes, thank you, ma'am. You're welcome. Boom, boom. First, take a look at my personal view. You can see it on the other screen. I think my picture came out nicely, don't you? It's literally your portrait. It is literally your mugshot from the dialogue.
You have one face. I don't understand what you're asking.
About the one face. Oh god, they used AI at first for the mugshots. It looked horrible. I don't know if they actually used more AI. Maybe I shouldn't have bought this game. I'll tell you a little secrets. Do you know how many guys fell in love with me when they saw my personal view picture? Fell in love? Just kidding. Okay, now show me your personal view. Stellar. Okay, I won't forget that. Thanks. And that's all there is to it. Oh yeah, you can still walk around with your personal views showing on the other screen. All you gotta do is press the left stick. Remember that, and you'll be good to go. I can't even do that right now. I'm starting to get the hang of this stack here. Hey kid, what? I was just wondering about something. What is that strange object floating in the sky? In the sky? They're not even switching to the second screen. Oh, that's an Edward ship. What the heck is that? Is that some kind of weapon?
What?
I told you they are flanderizing all the characters. Omega Xis can't
Is
shut
it-
up about weapons now.
Why is this his character? No.
Because Starforce 2. Because
These all
Starforce
his
2.
good because these all the good ideas in the Force game for Mega.
See, you're back to thinking about violent things again. Advert ships are for promoting things. It's like a commercial in the sky. Companies can reach a ton of people that way. Promotion, huh? So what's it a commercial for? Let's see. It says the latest, greatest horror film, Ghost Crisis, in theaters now. Look, Ghost, sorry. You're not scared, are you? You're really something, you know. I'm not scared. There's no rational basis for the existence of ghosts.
Okay.
That's why they're not scary. That's right, kid. You trying to convince me or yourself? Hey, something's up with that advert ship. Huh? Where? Its movements seem kinda shaky. Berserk. What the?
Oh no, it's a ghost.
Yeah, I'm just doing this myself. Is that thing stable? It stopped. It's gonna hit us. Yeah! What is that? Crash.
Congratulations, you! You have managed to get a massive payout from the advertising company.
That was a close one. Oh gosh, what was that? Oh. Oh no. A crowd's forming. We should take a closer look ourselves. Maybe this will finally add some excitement to our lives. This isn't excitement. Don't tell me you're not interested. You love tinkering with machines and gadgets whenever you can. Kinda tell them show in the first game, but sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kinda interested. It's not every day you get to see an Edward ship up close. Alright, let's check it out.
Let's see if we can see any bodies.
Is there some kind of trouble? Let's get closer and see what's going on.
You have to go inside it to see if you find any weapons.
That's some audio coming from the Edward ship. Get ready for this year's master horror piece, Ghost Crisis, now playing at theaters everywhere. The weather report said it would be sunny today.
I was so expecting that when they're gonna flanderize Geo, they're either gonna make him really like loner again and regress his character, or they'd make him super even more space-like somehow.
I didn't say anything about it. It didn't say anything about it raining Edward ships. Yeah, he's flanderized in a different way. Oh, by the way, cool detail.
Oh.
If you put on the visualizer, you can actually see the EM roads for a bit. Fun detail.
Very cool.
The promo said it's a new kind of horror film. It's called Ghost Crisis, I think. Oh hey, it's Chase Wind from the first game. Dislikes turbulence.
Ah.
Maybe I'll take my girlfriend to see it, because when she gets scared, I know she'll cling on to me. Ick, 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 ick.
Ew. Big icks.
I love looking in on other people's business. If I hear a noise, I'm really there to like a shot to see what's going on. This time I'm going to be at the front of the crowd. Yes, I needed to talk to everyone. Yay. This Edward ship is really something. It's got all these things to keep it in the air. Its center of gravity is perfect. I doubt many other kids could just say that by just looking at it. Yeah, you're just talking out of your arse, Gio. Why did it crash? And should we just stand here and not do anything about it? Just leave it, kid. Someone will clean it up. What's that? The
Oh my
latest
god, a ghost!
greatest horror film, Ghost Crisis. What in the world? The soundtrack's making a weird noise. Now, in theaters. What is that noise? It's like it's fighting, no more like Nielsen chalkboard. This pain is stopping. Sure. This is so painful, can't describe it. I can't take it. Yeah. Hey, kid. Yeah. Listen to me, Gio. What? Put in your visualizer. Huh? Right, okay. Yeah, those are EM viruses. They must have made the Alfred ship crash, meaning they're the ones behind this horrible racket. Just thinking about finding this battle gives me goosebumps. I'd like to avoid danger if I can. Don't chicken out on me. I'm not! I just don't like fighting as much as you do. I'm getting fidgety. Let's do this already. Our Schwarzschild aren't going to take care of those viruses for us. I get it already, I'll pulse in. You sure you still remember how to pulse in, kid? Of course I do. First we find a wave hole. Over there. A wave hole is a place of spatial distortion. Stand on the press tutorialize. Then we'll wave change and merge into Megaman, and we'll be in the wave world. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten about that. Okay, but I want to remind you of a few things all the same. Remember, you can only see them with your visualizer, tutorialize, put on, take it off, and one more thing. If you're blah 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 blah.
Yeah, Gio, I'm legally obligated to give you this tutorial at the start of every new game. Go with it.
That's cute that he follows you around in the...
Yep, that's new.
thing now.
Oh, he cannot keep up with the running because he has a set speed.
Bins.
So is this not written by the same people then?
Nope.
Hence standardization.
Also, they took out... There is no funny voice anymore for the, whatchamacallit. Hey, go and talk to that bird. Why? Welcome to the EM Wave world. You are probably already know this, but humans can't see us. Services working behind the scenes, working hard in the Wave world. If you want to know anything about the Wave world, I'll tell you. Okay, let's go. Yeah! Hold up a sec. It's been a while since I've fought off any virus attacks. I should probably sit this one out. Oh, come on, kid. I'm all pumped up for this fight. And we're going, even if I have to drag you. Okay, okay. If I had known you were thinking of running away, I would have told you how to battle. What do you think? No! Alright, let's go. Wave battle! Right on. This is the only time I can actually skip the friggin'
tutorial, yeah.
Yeah, in the other games they make you go through it.
Yeah, at least they give you that option to skip.
Mm-hmm.
Although it would have been cool if you could, how over your safe health in the first game.
Nah.
I don't know, you could have just got...
Alright, next one.
Got like an extra thing.
The DS had no storage for that kind of thing.
I know, but with this remaster, they could have done it.
Nah.
Theoretically.
Too much, whatchamacallit, in a V shape. Okay.
So is there a story behind why the writer shift happened, or...?
I don't know. One more to go. Stay sharp, kid. I don't know. It's a good question, and I'd say next question.
Oh yeah, that's right. Your deck got reset.
Yep.
I do like when games let you carry over, like, to the next game, like with deck. Or something like that.
Also, the charge is now different. I actually keep my charge if I use a card. So, that's nice of the game. Phew, that takes care of him.
Hello.
It feels good to flex the old muscles again.
Wendu.
Hey, Wendu!
It's Wembu.
Wembo.
Jeez, you seem to be forgetting which
Wemboo.
muscles you're flexing. Wendu instantly just interested with the by hearing there's something about flexing muscles.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm playing Starforce too. You can see it on stream. But I will be narrating like previous times.
Oh.
And
You're your dragon
Ru-
now.
Yeah,
and Ru,
Dragon, Rudurg.
Yes.
He's hot.
Yeah, and indeed. And
Yeah.
Ru is also on Twitch as well, so
Yeah.
just
I may
just for context.
I might pop off. I was just gonna say hello. So
Hello.
Okay, hi.
I was gonna go do some stuff, but I saw you were. I wanted to
Hey,
say
hi, Synthwave. Fancy seeing you here. If you want to join in on the... and he's following me on Twitch as well. Yeah, you can join in on Discord if you want to. To just join in on the conversation if you want to. Otherwise, you can just use Twitch. Okay. That's it. Meow. Geez, you seem to be forgetting whose muscles it is you're flexing. What's wrong, kid? I'm trying to pay you a compliment here. I don't really need a compliment from fighting. If I had it my way, I'd try to avoid any fighting. That's better, I think. You still don't get it, do you, kid? Anyway, that doesn't matter. We've put a damper on that noise. Pulse out and see if everything's okay. Wait, don't tell me you forgot how to pulse out. Tutorialize or step on the waffle. You do that and you pulse out to get back to your normal self. Got it?
Seems to trip up in mid-ale.
I've got something in my mailbox. Damn, that's a lot.
Omega, this is spam mail.
Yeah, I cannot mark anything as read. And I hate it when you just have a notification of just something being, whatchamacallit, of something being unread. A general warning from the Stealth Police Department that is present when attempting to access external data using a star carrier, you may encounter some strange data. It seems to be some kind of antiquated text, and this may have been corrupted. You are advised to be extremely cautious. Wow. Antiquated text. Since it's data you might be able to find when you pulsed in. Why don't we do a little snipping around for next time when you're pulsed in? Could be interesting. I don't know what he's talking about, to be honest. Oh, wait. Ciphers. You know, the ones I
Who's
just...
that monster and why does he have big pecs?
What?
I was reading what Wendu said in text chat.
Which monster, Wendy?
The one been talking to.
I can barely hear you.
The one that's been talking to your character.
Oh, that's a Megaxus.
Does he have big pets?
He looks like this.
Where's his big pecs?
He doesn't have packs, sadly enough.
Ears.
He only has pecs when he possesses Geo.
He's a kid.
Technically true.
Kinda.
Hey,
You
yep.
don't need to go there. Dad, don't tell me what I need to do.
You remember the words of wisdom from Professor Oak? There's a time and place to do this.
There's time and place for everything, but not now.
Oh, that's it.
What game is this?
Megaman Starforce 2.
Oh, okay.
They kinda flanderized all the characters from the first one. Okay, that noise is gone now. What are the odds? Oh. Oh. Oh.
Oh, someone.
I thought it was the...
Oh, those are
Hello,
pokers. I
Gio.
thought
How are you? Hey, Press. It's not often we get to see you out and about. I guess that means it's going to rain tomorrow. What do you mean? I go outside. Sometimes. Oh, really? You stay inside all day if you could. You like playing with machines and gazing at the stars, right? And as your class president, I worry about that you're forgetting to go outside once in a while. You don't have to worry, I'm okay. And I do go outside so I can see the stars.
You should listen to Press, Geo. Going outside is good, especially for getting some good eats.
There goes Bast again, always talking about food. Is he Geo? Well, I suppose.
You should maybe think about eating more, so you can get taller.
Hey! You promised not to crack jokes about my height. So, is something up? Why are you all here anyway? Nothing is up or down for that matter. Gee whiz!
The press is kind of upset again.
Again? What now? I was practicing piano at home when I heard this awful sound coming from over here. I was practicing so well too. All that practice went right down the drain. That noise upset friends and I'll never forgive it for that. But, Zax, you guys really understand me.
I'll find where that noise is coming from, then I'll smash it to the ground.
If Rest wants that, then... What? Wants that, then... That's what we'll do! Leave it to us! That is a sentence. Wait.
Okay, thank you, cult follower.
Posse.
Posse destroyer.
999 Posse destroy 420 blazes. Okay.
What the hell?
What happened to the noise? It's gone. The noise was coming from this advertisement shit. The problem's been taken care of already.
And after the ship, I thought about someone's making huge pizza.
You exactly would be making a pizza this bag. You took care of it, that noise, didn't you? Or perhaps, not you, but Megaman? Well, I see, you can always count on him. It's not like I'm trying to give you a compliment or anything. Megaman, he's the one you can count on. Perhaps your face is red. Be quiet, Zach. By the way, can you guys keep it down when talking about this kind of stuff? No problem, we wouldn't want people to know that Geostellar is Megaman. No, we wouldn't.
Too bad, if it were me, I'd tell everyone.
Yeah, but transforming like I do isn't exactly normal.
Yeah.
I also didn't like being the center of attention. Oh no! What happened? It fell over here! No! What a waste of money! I'm feeling sick! Feeling sick! Oh! Money! All that money! Who's this guy? He's feeling sick. I think something happened to him. This guy.
Being affected by greed.
We should
Money.
find out what's wrong. As class president, it's my job to help those who are in trouble.
Yeah, Press is a model, Press!
Gio, go over and see what's the matter.
Yes, master.
Is this a universe in which class president actually matters?
This
yeah.
is, you see, this is the universe where, well, class president means you rule over everyone else until the age of 15.
Money! All that money! What's wrong, sir? Money! Money is what's wrong! Money? I'm a movie producer. I was using this advert to promote my latest film. I see. But now this happened. All that money for promotion just went down the drain. Money, 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 money!
Normal
Enough
people
already.
talking.
He's even more annoying than that noise. Sorry, Wendy?
I was saying that normal people often just go money, 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 money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
even
pretty
more
standard
annoying than
thing
that
to do.
noise. Money! No! Hey kid, aren't you good with machines? Can't you do something about that advert ship? That noise is killing me. Maybe I could help. Excuse me? Yes? Money? You can't put the advert ship back in the sky? No, when that crested propeller came off, it should be around here, but I can't find it. Oh, my money, the money! Money, 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 money! Enough already. I guess we should look for that propeller if we want to help.
I don't know if I want to help this man.
Same. I mean, I know where it landed.
I feel if you give it money, give him a bit of money, he's gonna just start exploding.
Yeah. Why it's gotta be about money, Simple says. Ah! Oh, there's the propeller. It looks like a World War II propeller, I'm not gonna lie. Found it. I can't reach it, it's on the roof. Hey kid, put on your visualizer. Okay. And this is the reason why we weren't allowed to go upstairs. Hey, Kippa, thank you for the follow.
You're welcome.
I thought you already did.
I have never been able to get my Twitch to work with my old account, so I just made a new one.
Oh, huh. Wait, you can't join, Wendy?
Ah, why?
Huh?
He's already.
But you're already here and watching the stream. Weird. There's a way for it to connect it to it. If you can get on that wave road, you can access the roof. You're right. I'll try to find a way up there. Good. Now, pulse in already, will you? Also, I totally didn't kind of forget that you weren't that you were already here in the chat in the VC Kip. Oops. EMF change. Geostellar on the air. Maybe I should just be a bit more enthusiastic. Grand Wave 1. Looks like you've already got yourself a battle card, kid. But tutorialize.
Mr. Tutorial, Mr. Tutorial. Money!
Tutorialize, blah 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 blah. I mean, it's not a bad chip, but eh. Oh, we're not. Oh, okay. We're not gonna put that as a favorite. So, can I also now get into battles, or... Yeah, I can. New enemy!
It's like a discount flood for Mario.
I'm not giving it even a chance to attack, to be honest.
I didn't expect you to have powerful attacks like that this early.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get a little boss moves at some point. Hi, Nin.
Oh, hey, Nin.
Hello. Oh,
You sound awake.
I am exhausted.
Yeah, I get that.
The writing is killing me, Nen.
Good.
It's killer writing.
Killer writing. not in the good way, though.
Only a killer would write this.
I know what to expect from this game.
Oh, you do? Why?
Because I've seen you play the first one.
Oh, no. You don't understand. Oh boy. They've
How they
blenderized the
not?
shit out of these people.
But also, now we got a dinosaur.
They did what to these people?
Blenderization? Never heard of
Blanderize.
Mega wants to stop talking about weapons.
that? Blenderization means you exaggerate someone's character traits for the worse.
I actually did not hear, but I've heard about that before.
Okay, that is a pretty well-known term.
Yeah, thanks to The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of is inevitable. I feel like if you're going a long time with a single character or like sequelizing it.
Yeah. So Flanders used to be a kind of normal person, but then he became more religious and just more overly upstanding. And that's Flanderization. Earths are everywhere working hard, everywhere you look. They're delivering info packets or operating electronic devices, and thanks to all our hard work, humans can enjoy their cushy lives. Cough.
I'm so happy that those little robots are back. But they're not saying beep, so I'm also upset.
Yeah.
Why isn't this
So upset, no beeping.
But no, apparently the writing goes back to normal in 3. So why is 2 just like randomly
different
weird?
risers, if I remember correctly. Megaman got propeller. Okay, I guess I should take this to the man who won't shut up. Money, 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 money.
Are we gonna get Propeller Man back?
Is it the producer guy from the first game, or is it the
No,
guy?
no. This is a generic NPC.
Bye.
Oh. Everything that went wrong just went wrong.
Yes.
So, I'm sure Invisible's gonna be a card you're gonna take out of your deck eventually. What does it actually do? Make you invincible?
Yeah, it makes me invincible for a set amount of time. Oh.
I always assumed it would do something about targeting and not like actual invincibility, but
It makes me invincible. Except for a few types of attacks.
Every
That's
time
a
I was
five
in
volt,
play
huh?
unless I has line TF, when do I spoken?
Fair.
Enough. Hello, Mr. Money.
Ah, I'm losing money just standing here. Money! Geo gave the propeller to the man. Oh, that's the effort ship's propeller. Oh, wonderful. I need this effort ship back in the air. Now.
Capitalism.
Capitalism. About half an hour later, the effort ship was in working order and floating above town. Oh, it's fixed!
I mean, it seems so weird that the character is like, I'm losing money because my marketing isn't working. It's like, marketing doesn't directly make you money, so it's a little bit weird to correlate the two.
But it implies
Yeah.
they also understand this, which they don't.
Yeah, also it's like,
he
this is your
only
only
did this
advertising.
because the dude was very annoying. He just did this to shut him up.
Yeah.
Like there was a full text box worth of just him saying money 2 times in the
I'm not
same
surprised.
conversation. Promoting Ghost Crisis takes a fair chunk of money. Thanks for not letting it go to waste. I'm the producer for this film, and I want to show my appreciation for what you've done. Huh? No, that's okay. It wasn't anything. Nonsense. I would be out of a lot of money right now if it wasn't for you. Take these. You got a movie ticket.
Okay, I'm just gonna say, you already spent the money in advertising. You're not losing money by the ship going down. If anything, you'll get a refund.
I know.
Those are
Oh,
tickets
that's
for Ghost
stupid.
Crisis. What's more is that thanks to the latest technology, you can see the ghosts in all their scary goodness. If you'd like, you should bring your friends too. Thank you, sir. Well, we must be going now.
But
Money!
he won't get money for the potential
Money.
ticket sales.
Money. Money.
Money!
So he's losing money.
Huh?
Do you not know that one?
No.
Of the crabs going along the processing conveyor belt constantly. No? Okay.
No. I was
Like
thinking
the
more
Mr.
of
Krabs
SpongeBob.
voice.
Yeah, I was thinking that you were kind of referencing that. That's it, I guess. So, what do we do with these tickets? Tickets! Show me! Oh no, it's a frat. It's showing at Wilshire Hills in Capital City. What's Wilshire Hills? Oh, don't you know? It's just in the greatest city ever. I've never heard of it. That's because you're always at home fiddling with some machine. I don't see what's that got to do with it. As class president, I take full responsibility for someone in class not knowing about Wilshire Hills. I've decided we have tickets and someone who doesn't know about it. Tomorrow we are all going on a trip to Wilshire Hills. I'm not sure. You wouldn't be trying to refuse an order now, Geostella? Would you?
No, mistress.
Me? She's TFing into a lion.
He does line TF.
She wishes she could.
She already turned into a snake, though.
Oh god.
Aww,
Not gonna lie, I forgot.
Yikes. No, I'm not. I'd be happy to go.
And we can get a grub while we're on the way there.
But we're going to see a movie, got it?
Oh, yeah. Guess I'll have to get it. The Ultra Jumbo Super Deluxe popcorn then.
I guess you will. It's settled. We'll all meet at the bus stop tomorrow. Okay, see you then. Hold up! Geo, if you're gonna go stargazing tonight, you better dress warmly. Okay.
Why is she mothering you?
Zach, don't forget to take off your glasses before going to bed. Yes, ma'am. And Bud, don't stay up too late. You won't be on time tomorrow if you do.
Will do, Praz.
So we'll all meet up tomorrow and don't be late.
Again, what's with the mothering?
Blenderization. I love staring at static. It's so soothing.
I can taste the radiation.
Why won't this work? Mom,
Yummy.
I'm home. Is
Gamma
something wrong?
flavor.
What you say?
Yummy gamma flavor.
Oh, Geo, there you are. Something is wrong with the TV. And this is a show I really want to watch. Really? Huh. You know more about electronics than I do. Do you think you could fix it for me? The picture's all fuzzy. As far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with the TV itself. And it might be a problem with the reception or something. Hey kid, if there's reception, we can check it out. Oh yeah? How? First, put on your visualizer. Gotcha. Ah, that's a noise. Hey, that's a... The light band is the TV's reception source. If we look into that, we can find out why the picture's bad. So, that's the TV's EM space. Yeah, but you kids say ES for short, don't you? No?
Hello, fellow kids.
Since when?
So why don't you pulse in and see what's up with that ES? Okay. Time to pulse in and check out the TV's ES. Are you saying something, Gio? I didn't quite catch it. Huh? No, I didn't say anything.
How does she still not know? Considering what she was involved in the last game, how does she not know?
Aurora Borealis contains entirely within our home.
Incomprehensible, understood.
I have food. I'm going to hop out.
Oh,
I'll talk to you
okay.
guys later.
See ya.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking for something right now. Give me a hot moment. What is it? I know I've sent it. Huh. I could have sworn I did. Huh? Oh, just something I want to share. Because we're talking about lions, and when do you want to talk about when Ruig Lion? I mean, there was. Why can't I find it? I'll just have to re-upload the file, I think. One moment to be put into the...
Gracias.
Thank you.
Bitte.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Is this the one? Yeah, that's the one.
You're taking too long.
Gio, what the hell are you doing?
You're taking too long.
Uh-huh.
You're taking too long!
Aren't you gonna check
Don't-
my receptions back?
That
Taking
is
too long is taking too long.
so. That is such a cost fucking voice he did.
He doesn't know, by the way.
You just
Chat, I really don't know.
You're taking too long. It's taking too long. You're taking too long. It's taking too long.
You're long.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
Wait, so the EM Wave Road takes you walking through the wall? Or is there no wall there in the real world?
I just went through the door.
Okay.
To be honest, IRL it would just be Geo just going through the wall, yeah. I'm gonna go for... Oh.
Is the shield better in this game?
No, it's still the same.
Okay.
Why?
It just looks more effective, I guess. I don't know.
Nah. I just didn't really use it much.
I guess it is better earlier.
Oh, no, it's better later. Because
Really?
enemies can clap you hard. I recover fruity.
I thought it was better earlier because attacks more predictable.
Eh. We're gonna take this out. Another paralyzed plus. Don't really feel like that, I think. Let's encounter it, oh boy. Okay, how do I get in there?
I would be up here, right?
Aren't you gonna check what?
Oh, I just need to be on the ground level, don't I?
I was also gonna say, do you have to talk to the TV to get the wave pool to spawn so that you can go in when you're...
Oh, that's when I'm not transformed. Hello. Keep up the good work, Megaman. Beep beep, wink wink.
We love beep beep.
Like, finally some beeping.
Uh-oh. Actually, that's not a good idea because it's multi-hit.
So Barry just blocks one instance of damage?
Yep.
Okay.
It's no use.
It's no use!
Humans can see our way EM bodies.
I think you have to transform back and then talk to the TV to get the wave hole.
Nope.
Or is it... Oh?
This is the
Oh.
top screen. You can tell if you're next to a wave hole. No, I need to just...
Let's take a closer look at that TV's EM wave space.
What do you mean by take a look?
Do you see those waves collecting up there in the sky?
Yeah, I pointed them out already.
Those are the waves that the TV is receiving.
Yeah, there they are. I see.
This
If
game
we...
uses the double screens a lot more then, right?
Kinda, yeah. I see. If we go up there and check out the TV waves, we should be able to find out what's wrong with the TV. But how are we supposed to get up there?
Jeez, quit being such a wuss. It shouldn't be a big deal in your wave change state. Come on, let's give it a shot.
Okay, let's do this. More flanderization.
We love.
You got to
Welcome
space
to
before.
heaven.
So you literally got to a spaceship.
Here's the TVCS.
Every wave that broadcasts to the TV gathers here at this one point during reception.
A wave concentration? Jeesh. They sure like it high up here, don't they?
EM waves usually are this high up. Hey, you're not losing your nerve on me, are you, kid? I'm not scared. I hope not. There are a lot of waves like this one. There are more things than just TVs that use EM waves. You should check them out when you get a chance. Where waves gather in a point like this, you can probably go in there. Okay. Alright, kid, let's find out what's going on with this TV. Okay, one thing though. Let's keep our eyes off the ground, okay?
Is he scared of heights?
Yep! Flanderization!
Gio went to space!
Yep! And that's why people hate this game. The character assassination, oh boy.
Yeah, I can tell.
Look what 2 months does for Gio.
I wasn't
That
fast
is how
enough for
long
the
it's
last
canonically been in games since the last events, right?
2 months, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey. I wasn't sleeping. I'm not sleeping on the job. Is that so? Well, that doesn't matter. Who are you? I'm the TV herds. I live here. I make sure all the broadcasts make it to the TV. Cough. I came to tell you that my TV's reception is pretty bad. Gulp. Don't tell me it's because you were sleeping on the job. You see, I came all the way here from Eiffel Tower. It's a long way from there to here. That's why I feel so petered out. So you admit to just sleeping on the job then? Let me guess, you were just resting your eyes? Hey, are you listening? I'm so sorry. Yes, it's all my fault. Please forgive me. I'm not really mad. Just get the reception working and it will all be good again. I promise not to sleep on the job anymore. I'll do my job.
Kill him.
You should be sleeping to begin with.
Kill him. He's weak.
Okay, I'll go tell Mom that everything's okay now.
I mean, if you kill him, your TV will never work, though, right?
Yeah.
Replace him.
Hey, wake up. Yes, sir. I hope he can keep his word. I promise not to sleep on the job anymore. I'll do my job.
Also, his mom just saw Gio run outside, walk back in.
Maybe fiddling with an antenna or something. I don't know.
Don't question it.
There you are, Gio. Where'd you disappear to? Can't tell, I transformed and went into the wave world. The bathroom! Anyway, how's the TV? Smooth.
She literally saw you walk outside.
Oh dear, yes, the TV's working now. I wonder what the problem was. Sleeping on the job.
What?
Huh?
But like, you can't. But then, what?
Nothing! Well, it's working now. I really wanted to see this program. Oh. Here it is. Welcome to this week's documentary 2020X, 220X. Today we take a look at the marvel of man's space station Peas. Mom, is this about? Yes, Peas is the space station your father was on when. Anyway, this is a special program about it. The Peas was involved in exchanging ideas with extraterrestrials. The hopes and dreams of humanity were with the Peas. But those dreams were cut short by an accident of unknown nature. The whereabouts of the Peas remain unknown. Also, why do you call the Peas? Sometime later.
Reasons.
Unfortunately, experts say that current technology is not up to the task of being able to locate the Peas.
So
No.
it's not.
What? No?
So it's not a piece of cake.
This is patently false. Like, Gio was
up.
on the space station, literally.
I think didn't after Geo get done with his stuff, didn't it start exploding and probably drift off into space?
Yeah,
section
but
he
he
was in, there was
also
just
he
his
sectioned
capsule.
off a part, and it just
He was in a-
went back to Earth.
Yeah, the only thing I like blew up and I got off course was like his escape capsule.
So like the rest of it's somewhere out in the solar system, probably.
Yeah, it's weird. Like I said, bad writing in this one. Also, we lost code. I did not notice. Huh. Mom. What do you think, Mom? Do you think Dad is still alive out there? Sure he is, honey. I believe your father is still alive. But without him here, it's up to me to take care of you and this house by myself. When he comes back, I want to greet him with a smile and say, "Welcome home, dear." Mom.
And then
Well,
strangle
the
him.
program's over. What?
And then struggling before leaving me for so long.
And then strangle him because I need some hot sex. He really liked the strangulation. He was kinky like that. Mom, why did you have to tell me that? I'm now scarred for life.
Where in the lore does it say that?
Says, Omega,
Where
can
the-
I try that?
Please
Where in the
point
lore
to-
does it not say that?
Omission is not proof of existence.
Okay. The real reason for strangling him is because he didn't get any milk. He forgot the milk. I mean, he went to the Milky Way. He was sent out to get milk, and just comes back with his hand empty. Come on.
Jesus Christ.
Well, the program's over. I think it's time for you to go. It's time you got ready for bed. Okay. Not even going to Vista Point. Don't you think we should get some rest? It's late, so why should I
No.
go to bed? You know, the whole thing you did daily.
This house does not have a bathroom.
In one of the Battle Network games, there's actually a bathroom, and you have to do something with the toilets.
Sounds like something I will enjoy to find out on my own playthrough.
In Breath of Fire 2, it's also funny, also by Capcom. They actually have toilets, and you actually have to go into a sewer. Meanwhile, in a faraway place, the Earth is in dire need of something. Do you know what that is, Hyde?
Oh, is there a Jekyll?
I was about to ask that.
lady. So from another playthrough, they called him a Redditor. You'll see why. It needs a ruler.
I can already see why.
A ruler who wields absolute power. And the only person worthy of ruling is me. You speak the truth, Lady Vega. That thought would not even occur to the uncouth masses. No, it wouldn't, but soon they will all know. No, it is that rules them, and it is your duty to deliver that message. Yes, my lady. You can trust your servant Hyde to carry out your wishes. The next day. Yes, I have a top hat. Morning already. Off we go, I guess. Everyone should be waiting at the bus stop. Wow, that bus stop with a U. Are you going out with your friends today? Have a good time, but be careful. You didn't even tell her that you went to the movie, Geo. What?
Damn it, Gio.
Wait, what? The kitchen. The food that Mom makes in here is better than at any restaurant. Smells like we're having mac and cheese tonight. That's something I want to try one of these days. Can you do something? Yeah.
Wait,
Some
why are
mac
you
and
making
cheese.
macaroni cheese in like what, 9 o'clock in the morning?
Sometimes making stuff early and just marinated is nice. Macaroni
Dude,
is pretty nice.
It's
to
macaroni!
make. Yeah, but it's nice
Yeah,
to
I know.
make it just once at night. Huh? What? A popular
What?
gaming system is played by most. Hey, check it out. This is a thing even has a channel for editing words. What? Word entries from you and your real brothers can be edited here? What? I think this is one of the things they took out of the Western release. This is the control panel, or conpan for short. I want to punch someone. You can control almost all of the electronics in your room from here. This is my computer. I used to study and play games. I'm sensing a minute amount of EM radiation. Let's come back later to investigate. Yep, they are storygating this. Before you could just walk up to it and turn it on, now it's, oh, we need to wait for later. This is my bookshelf. All these books are about space. Well, I really like space.
Do you have any
I
other
just don't get it.
hobbies, Geo?
You seem to take extra special care of your telescope. Why is that? My dad bought it for me a long time ago. That's fine. Oh. So you really treasure this thing, huh? Tell me, is there anything else you treasure like this telescope?
Eggs.
Ah.
Boys,
Just all of them.
you might be able to get more soup.
Furries. That makes sense. It's a poster of a meteor shower. I get excited just looking at it. This is my globe. It's waving hands with a myriad of options. No minute radiation from that, really?
Gee, I
Okay.
wonder if there's gonna be something you're gonna have to look for in your room that has radiation.
Oh, a shoe cupboard. Mom's, Dad's, and my shoes are in there. Well then.
You left his shoes at home? Well, no wonder he got lost in space if he left his shoes at home.
I didn't even think about that. Also, no vending machine anymore.
The guy stopped, he stopped stalking it.
Yeah. Oh, it's already active, okay. It's got postal waves flowing through it. Really? A mailbox.
Postal
Hardly
wave.
anybody uses these nowadays. Because electronic
Yup.
mail's so much easier and faster. But I like the heartwarming feeling you get from a handwritten letter. But isn't writing letters by hand a pain? Well, it's got postal waves flowing through it.
I don't understand how it works.
It's a profitable. It's not the priciest condo complex in Echo Ridge for nothing. Praz, who lives here, can go swimming any time she feels like it. You should ask your mom to have a pool like this installed at your house. Not a chance. I'm sensing a minute amount of EM radiation. Let's come back later. Oh, it's this again.
Wait, I'm still trying to figure out that mailbox, how it would work with postal waves.
Oh, that is not even the stupidest kind of waves you'll see. Believe me.
Wait,
Looks like
wait.
human waves.
You know something.
Oh, there are way stupider waves. Let me tell you.
Yeah, you see those postal waves, those pool waves, and there is
already?
Mexican waves.
Clothing
Mexican
waves.
There's some text data coming in. Watch out, kid. That data's got a virus attached to it. Oh!
You're
Oh,
like the
already
most
like
crappy-
this?
Yeah, it's like you're like the crappiest not well antivirus of mankind, Omega.
Not even a reward. Jeez. What the heck? Megaman got the January XX.
So you just stole someone's mail.
Yeah. Let me see. It's in items. I know what
you
this
have
is.
to. Yeah, I was going to say it's like if it's someone's mail, you have to read it like a soldier from Civil War.
January XX. Today was AC/DC schools, elementary schools class reunion. If you know, you know. It's been quite a while since I graduated. Time really goes by so fast. Dex, who I haven't seen in a while, has been elected mayor. He has really grown into a fine young man. Are you sure? Are you sure that she wasn't just a fine young man? Oh well.
What?
And I hear Yai is the president of her father's company, traveling around the world. They both have made their own marks, and now it's my turn. I'm gonna become a great scientist and help all of humanity. Oh boy. Should I unpack this?
Please do.
I might need the help.
They're
Okay.
missing something.
This is from the prequel series, Battle Network. Yai and Dex are friends of the character who wrote this, who is Len Hikari, and he is the main character of Battle Network.
So that's been stuck in hell for how many? For 200 odd years.
You could only get these mails by having Battle Network inserted while playing this game. Any of the Battle Network games. And it will trickle in while playing the game. I'm a merchant herd. Got some good things. Welcome. What will
You
it
want to
be?
buy some crack?
I've got small crack. I've got locked crack. I've got search crack. Leaving already. Crack again, okay. Crack again, cocaine.
Crag?
Okay, okay.
Crag rivals?
Oh, fucking Jesus.
He rocks, I heard. But most people don't send letters by snail mail anymore. So when a letter comes in, it's my job to contact the post office. It's a really easy job. I love it. Beep beep. Okay, that explains quite a bit, actually. That is actually pretty efficient, not gonna lie.
Huh.
An actual reason for automated mailboxes. Yes, in Dutch you
Sure.
call it automized.
No, fine. I wasn't throwing shade at the Dutch language this time.
This time.
Dutch languages have more shit thrown at it.
Trust me, you'll know when I throw shade at the Dutch language.
Megaman got a power-up item. HP memory 10. Okay. So weird
Now
now
check
that I
the
just
pool.
am on the ground, huh?
Doesn't the pool have waves?
Yes, it
Yes, it
does. But it
Water
wasn't
waves.
activated.
Water waves.
I'm sensing a minute amount of EM radiation. Let's come back later and investigate.
Please don't tell me that's gonna tie to the first boss.
It's story locked.
Oh
just
my
like
God.
the other one. What was the other one again? I forgot. Oh well.
Get all those little guys so that you can sell them later.
I can't sell stuff, I can only trade away.
Well, it's effect. Yes.
Oh,
Trade it for more stuff.
Small energy. Heal, heal. Oh. I was too distracted by healing. Oops.
Now you gotta take them out.
There we go. Wow, that standing sign was really tiny. Longsword! Better than normal sword.
It's longer, so you
Longer.
can stop people from falling away.
Exactly.
Who wouldn't want a
Longer for her
longer one?
pressure. Pleasure.
Damn it.
I'm a security device, doghouse version. If I see someone that shouldn't be here, I start barking like this. Bow wow 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 bow wow 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 woof woof.
Wow, Wolf Woods has really let himself go.
Doghouse security is actually also a thing from Battle Network. And yes, it actually works.
Huh.
Define it works.
An
It
intruder
just makes sense.
was actually detected by the security system, and it went off, and it went barking. So it works, like I said.
Okay.
Oh right. Are you guys missing something here?
You can't cross the street to the other side anymore.
The whole
So
damn school's
it-
eradicated.
Yeah.
Yeah. he
Oh,
needs
Fist
skill.
Appointed not there anymore.
That's where the bus stop and the school were.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
other
you
zones
see, it just turns out the class
Fist
president has
Appoint
just
fell
been
into the
hallucinating the
sea.
school.
I can't believe the school lost all its funding.
Now, do you have to take the bus to get to the school by chance? Later in the game, or is there no school in this version?
Oh boy. I don't believe it. It's late! Late. Where in the world is Bud? I
Oh, no.
exactly-
She's becoming
explicitly told
money.
him not to be late. Sorry. This won't be pretty. Sorry, I overslept. Overslept? It's because
Okay.
you stayed up all
I'm
night
going to
playing games.
focus
didn't
now.
you? Huh?
We lost someone.
Bye now.
We lost Nin.
What
Sometimes
the?
it's still your-
How did you? You were playing Burger Quest again, weren't you? Yes. Of course I knew. I'm your brother after all. Why is that spelled? Whatever. It would be strange if I didn't know. Oh, that reminds me. I see you've upgraded to a star carrier, Geo. When you upgrade your brother, the band resets on itself. You knew that, right? Sure? I worry that there are a lot of things you don't know. Anyway, this is a good chance to tell you everything I know about brother bands.
Wait, that means we lost our brother band with Sonya and Prez and Zorark.
Yep. No, we didn't have a brother band for Zorak.
Oh, you
Zack!
didn't? I always thought.
Be a lackey and become his brother.
Yes, madam.
Do you want to hear about Link Power? Okay, so here's what you need to know about Link Power. Link Power is mysterious power over the born out of the bonds of brother bands. Star carriers allow you to know just how much Link Power you have. It's your social credit score! Totally not dystopian or anything.
No,
By
totally
becoming
not.
brothers with others and cultivating ties, your link power increases. The number of at the bottom of the right of the screen is your link power. By becoming brothers with Zack, your link power went up by 50. As your link power increases, you'll be able to equip all kinds of abilities. I don't really know much about that though. I do know that your strength has a lot to do with your link powers. Oh, by the way, you can see info about your real brothers on a special screen. Apple.
We're real brothers. That kind of implies it.
Yes. Oh boy. This is the brothers screen. You can access it by selecting brothers on the menu screen. You can even raise your link power by becoming brothers with someone. Now, do you understand link power pretty well? Yes, please. Okay, let me explain. Okay.
Why is there an apple?
That's the icon they chose for us.
Oh.
Oh, I need to choose one.
Where's Wolfwoods?
Exactly.
Wolf's puppy.
Okay, this one is one of the puppies.
Ah,
That is Wolf. That is the one who makes Wolf Woods with the gardener.
Woof woof bark bark.
And it will swell.
Next are secrets. Blah 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 blah. There's actually a lot of cool things you can do on your My page. Huh?
I was gonna say, is that a secret?
Not for the people who PvP against me. But I think we've got the basics. I know it was long, but this is the end of my brother band talk. Yeah, you explained most of the same stuff. Oh, I'll get to know them better, then link power number goes up. In short, I number means this. You have earned the trust of people around you. Your social credit score went up. You can now go to China. That's not all, Geo. According to my info source, the Zacpedia.
I'm sorry, he created a Zacpedia?
Yep.
This is why no one likes you, Zach. No wonder you're not tall.
People with a high link power can get special treatment. For example, they can go to other countries without passports or get into prestigious university without even taking any tests.
You're right, it is the social credit score.
Also from a different stream, but yeah. Geo, your star carrier is in the default setting. That means your link power is low. Having a number that low is a bit pathetic. I want to punch her. I guess I'll just have to form a brother band with you again. Ooh.
What if you just said, actually no, never mind. I don't want it.
Oh, the bus is here. Oh, the bus is way more important than you, Geo. I didn't mean to brag, but the bus fares half off for me. That's because Prez has a higher link power than us. You right, Prez. Oh well, I guess we'll have to reform our broadband later. It's not like I can't find you or anything. Okay, after Welsh Show, here we go.
This seems like such a terrible system. Like, the Prez obviously could afford the bus fare, but now they don't have to pay it, but like...
Yeah,
everyone else...
I mean, she's rich as well, so...
Yeah, it's almost like the rich get richer.
Wait a minute. It's an owl bus driver, and she was like, "Oh, we'll have to just form the link later on." It's like, you're on the bus for an hour.
What are you going to do? Twiddle your thumbs? 1 hour later. This actually looks way better than the city in the first game. Not gonna lie. Also, pretty nice theme.
The map design's much better too.
Finally! That was kinda long. Wait, this is just the original music. Is it just me?
I don't really know, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. Isn't this a per game setting?
It might be.
Whoa, they're going nuts! This certainly isn't Elica Ridge. All these people in one place. It reminds me of the Milk Cube.
Space.
I'm going to grin and bear it. I'm going to grin and bear it. Oh my god. Milky Way, is that some kind of food? Actually, yes, it is.
Yes.
Technically it is. Exactly.
I think it's called Three Musketeers in the US.
We have both. There's Milky Way and Three Musketeers.
Yeah, Three Musketeers is the ones we have over here. Is that some kind of food? No, it's a cluster of stars and a candy bar. That's all. I thought it was something tasty. It is tasty. Oh, stay on the track. Be careful that you don't get lost.
This game was sponsored by Cadbury's Milky Ways.
Cadbury's? Mars.
Mars, my bad. Dolls
Right.
isn't a fucking company to me. I don't know.
Yeah,
The
I'm pretty
Zacpedia
sure.
says
Why
the
are you making
elevator's
this
up
encyclopedia?
ahead.
Why you make
I told you, the Zacpedia will drive you nuts.
it drive me nuts the second I saw it.
So,
We can end
No one likes you, Zach.
there.
I have a question. Does anyone in this world interact with the Zacpedia other than Zach? Or is Zach always going to be the one to bring it up? Like, well, the Zacpedia says this. It's like, come on.
Oh, it gets worse by the next game.
is-
Okay, not really.
is-
Okay, lore implications worse, but not really worse by the frequency he uses it. Alright then, let's go.
It's like Grokkopedia, no one actually uses it apart from Elon.
Oh god.
You made an AI that scours Wikipedia and then answers it based on what
I just got
Wikipedia
some
says.
mail. Mail. Broadband, 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 broadband.
My goodness, that is such a long email.
Huh. I only have special brothers. I thought that I'd also have Starforce 2 brothers. Okay. Oh wait. No. I have to show this to you guys.
Oh god.
That is the first Mega Man. That makes sense.
I'm the original 8-bit Mega Man!
I've been
I
trapped
get my
in this
energy
hellhole
from
for
the
10,000
sun.
years.
I don't know what that Mega panel is.
Is that one
Favorite
of the
food,
bosses?
E-tanks, home tank, a lab, interest, sliding, favorite TV show, Megaman Starforce.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say, is that one of the bosses later?
Yeah, I
Megaman
shouldn't have shown you
Starforce.
guys.
Well,
Delete it. Also, that was a very sad noise. Oh, what? Oh.
I just got some puts on the head goggles.
Nice to meet you, I'm Mega Man! Huh? Your name is Mega Man too? What a coincidence! Actually, I'm in the middle of a battle which will determine the fate of the Earth. So I'd like to use the power, to use the broadband to lend me your power. I'm counting on you! Oh, and by the way, if for some reason our broadband ever gets cut, just go to the wave station in the shopping plaza and we can become brothers again. See you. Or just use it through the menu.
you
cut
will
off
be
the
my
brother
brother,
band.
and you will enjoy it.
You cut off the brother band. He needs you to save the Earth.
Let's keep going. The Wikipedia said... Oh, he actually said that! So that's the elevators over this way. That will take us inside some Wilshire Hill. Food? Wow, awesome! An advertisement for Ghost Crisis. A movie about ghosts? I knew you were afraid of ghosts, kid. Told you! Told you! It was only a side note in the first game. I actually thought they invented it for this game, but no, they exaggerated it. That's not true. Doesn't seem that way to me. But if you're not scared of ghosts, tell me what you really can't stand.
Fleshy. Oh no. Oh. Oh.
Fleshies, I'm not surprised.
Can't wait for this to come back up in the middle of the nightmare sequence.
I can't wait for there to be a boss like at the end of the game being like, "I will attack you with." It's like
This elevator will take you up 200 meters in a split second. Well then, I'll be baked against the walls.
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts,
small.
really? I don't know. I don't know what this is meant to be. Stigmatizing, maybe? Dismal? But first.
Hey everyone, look at me. I'm
Everyone saw you.
transforming.
every single person saw you. Your secret's out.
Yaha, this place is always jammed with humans. So many people make it easy to tangle up all the yam waves. Gotta be careful. Beep. Huh, this is a very different song. Hot Rotor! Oh, this is a very different song.
Isn't this the bike that had the attack that you were using a lot earlier in the last game?
A bit. They improved it. It's actually better now.
Well, that's good to know. Car.
Watch your step, huge flame viruses are popping up everywhere. Looks like this is as far as I can go. Nope. I actually...
Do it.
Huh?
I was gonna say 2 swords should do it.
Ah. Ah. Hey, firing.
That goes in the deck.
Only 30? Huh.
But it could hit twice, right?
Oh, it can hit 3 times even. One moment.
Ooh.
There. Interesting, that's a new, whatchamacallit, that's a new interface to block stuff.
Get rid of the barrier, maybe?
Yeah. If it was a blank card, I'd be fine with it, but not like this. It's a sign, stay alive, don't eat and drive. Damn!
Yeah!
There are menful waves? Coming from it to wake drivers up? Huh? I thought it was meant cigarettes. Sure. Sure. I told you, there are weirder waves than this. Look both ways before crossing. Slow down. Cross on the green. I won't stand for even one accident on these roads. Not on my watch.
No
So
BP.
what happens if he does have an accident? Does he just like die?
I will double murder you. In your sleep. Your eternal sleep.
Wow, Traffic's so bad you can walk on those cars forever.
Huh, haven't seen those giant ones yet.
I haven't seen Longsword come up yet.
Ah. Oh, my charge got disabled because, cancelled because of getting hit.
Oof.
Also, you could see in the upper left that Mega had a mock shot because it was aiming. Or however you want to call that. I'm Emergent Hertz, what you're looking for, lots of good stuff. Also, something is missing. I wonder if you guys have seen it. Look at this merchant.
I'm unsure what's missing.
I didn't pay attention to the merchants much last time, so...
Navies have been done away with. No more humanoid humanoid people are just have just been replaced by waves. Navies are not a thing anymore.
Huh.
Also, okay, that's a draw.
Gee, do you think it wants you to stab someone?
Yeah, my thanks, my thanks. Sadly enough, it doesn't decrease your... Oh, it does. Huh.
What?
Oh, I thought that Ray wanted to say something.
No.
Oh.
They didn't say anything.
My bad.
I just said it worked.
The problem with Invisible is it doesn't last for long, so I just don't really take my chances with it. I mean, it's handy, but yeah. Okay, where are the giant ones?
They're just glad how you can just ignore physics slightly and just run on top of vehicles without having to climb on them. And these cars will be there forever.
This one. Come on, moving over.
Oh! That was good luck that it turned around and walked over there.
Not really. I meant to attack it on the rebound. When it wasn't at its furthest point, I mean. Another Vulcan? Sure.
That's kind of how the other, the little hatted guy came over.
Oh, he always tries to get on the same row as I am.
Oh.
I've been exploiting that the whole time.
He always tries to line up and then attack. Or it, actually. See?
Yeah, no, I understand that. I felt like the fact that it attacked in that moment, as opposed to waiting a bit longer before trying to do it.
I can't believe humans made such a giant elevator. Okay.
An elevator that goes fast enough to, like...
Oh, wait,
Where are
I
you?
need to be on the road there.
Oh, really?
Sorry, what?
I was gonna say the elevator was moving at 100 in a second,
200 meters per second.
so that's extremely fast.
The calculus on that is so annoying. Is that something like 12? No. Ah, there we go. Beak.
You'd be dead.
Yeah, I think so. There we go, it hits 3 times if it's at the apex. Ram, 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 ram.
So that would be about 447 miles per hour. It's extremely much faster than you could be going, but
I think your spine would be mush. Hey, firing 2 stars. That's something new. Oh, I actually got a tutorial for that.
yeah. So 450 miles per hour, depending, as long as it's not like an instant acceleration, I think you could survive that. 'Cause, like,
200 meter per second, 2 kilometers per hour.
Random game
Calculate
theory movement.
720 kilometers per hour. Yeah, you would not be standing in that thing. I don't know the amount of G's because we don't know how hard it accelerates, but sure.
Before I forget, I better tell you about star cards. They're a little different than regular cards. First of all, they have more attack power, and for attack stars, there are more stars, the higher their attack power, and by putting it into your folder, they increase the power of any card in that folder of the same name. But you can only put in 3 at the same time. There is a place, especially for star cards, so use it careful though. You can't put any 2 of the same. Oh, in case you didn't know, you need to beat up the big viruses, so keep your eyes peeled.
So yeah, the big viruses, I thought they increase the power of battle cards of the same name.
and then did he say that they power up if they're in the same deck as like a regular one? They power them all
Yep.
up, or
So now it's 30 plus 15 on these fire rings.
interesting.
So the highest damage it can deal now is 135 if they're on the very back row. You now understand why I wanted to go for this one. Yeah, cannon. Actually?
So is this one less about fighting the bosses and getting the boss attacks as opposed to getting like upgraded versions of the like?
Can't really say actually. Also, I can favor it by the big one.
I
But
know
yeah,
the
I
last
don't
one,
really know.
it was like, oh, get cancer bubble, get heart node. It's like, and then you just crush people.
Oh, that's still the case. The battle system is still the same, but these star cards are pretty nice to have.
So you're just gonna get more fire rings? Is that the plan?
I will try to get a better firing ring, but I don't know for certain if I will be able to. We'll see. Okay, so it will always be this configuration. Gotcha. Ah!
Oh my god, and this is why I...
I don't know if you're getting the upgraded version.
Yeah, me neither.
Also, what determines how many cards you can grab at once?
I can only get one at a time. And
So
the
I've seen you
better...
play all 6 of them at once before.
That was because because I was in a special form in the previous game. I was able to pick 3 cards. I could pick cards in a row instead of only columns. And if they're white.
I see.
Yeah, this is not gonna work. 1 star. Okay, let's get out of here. Maybe if I get better cards later, but I think this is fine enough.
Walk through a wall there.
Ding dong.
Yep. It's just it's just blood that comes out.
So, this is how it feels like having my brains in my toes. So this is the main area of Wilshire Hills. Welcome one and all to Wilshire Hills.
Wow, thank you.
Whoa. Come to the Job House, where the coffee is really always fresh. Hey, it's an air display. The sale of a lifetime is waiting for you at the shopping plaza. In the city, all these air displays are always running ads. Everyone knows that. The Lost Civilization coming soon to a museum near you. Okay, we're getting a bit too close to comfort.
Hey, unrealistic. Real ads would never get out of your face.
Yeah.
Just
Hey, look at that. Remember when I said it would get dumber?
Yeah.
The accursed says that a skyboard is pretty. That's a skyboard. They're pretty popular. Amazing. You've been surprised by everything since we got here. Everyone will think you're a country bumpkin. What's worse is they'll think I'm one too. Hey guys. We gotta get some popcorn. You can get some in the theater, dumbass. No! I'm starving here! But we're here to see the movie, not the popcorn, remember? The movie doesn't start for a while since we're here and we have some time. We might as well look around and explore.
In
Sure, why
Bud's
not?
defense, most times you go to the movie theater, the popcorn complete the experience.
Oh god, yeah.
I agree, Prez. So we're not getting popcorn. Oh. Whoa, we're in the city. Actually, I'm only here for the good eats. An air display. Look, it's Sonia. She's on the air display. When you're tired, give yourself a boost with Sonia Vita D. I'll always be here cheering for you.
Didn't Sonya, like, retire
Yes.
somewhat? So,
Yes.
in 2 months, did you go back to work? Okay.
Wikipedia says that the elevation of this place is 200 meters.
It'd be such a shame if you accidentally push Zack off the edge.
Exactly. Don't gawk at everything you see. I don't want people to think we're country bumpkins. I'm just waiting for the friend. Yay! We're gonna form a bread band. Yay! This will be the 6th person I get to form a bread band with. Yay! Forming a bread band makes me feel all yay, yay, yay!
Also, Luna, you've had so many chances to form a brother band with Gio at this point.
Hey there, cutie. You wanna go for a ride? That guy's trying to be cool. Come on, we're just going on for a drive, okay? Look, I got any type of ride you want. Check this out, it's my Meta Wave collection. Materialize! Sports car. What you
That'll work,
think?
Tom.
It's a sweet ride, baby. What? A car just appeared. That's a Meta Wave.
What's the matter, Wave?
I think I saw something about that on TV. You can turn EM waves into solid objects with that device. Exactly, cars and electronics and many other things can be made with meta waves, but meta waves are all the rage right now. It's almost impossible to get them. No go. You sure are playing hard to get.
Ew.
Okay, how about this? Materialize. Bike. That's not a bike, it's a scooter. I got a lot more where that came from. Materialize. Skyboard. Its latest model pretty cool, isn't it? That's one hardcore wave collector. Please don't use that word. Please don't use that word on that creep. Please don't. I'm giving him that voice for a reason. Hey there, cutie. You wanna go for a drive?
He said
Oh.
Oh my god, of course his name is. Favorite phrase? Love me. No, look at his name.
Casanova.
Ah, Casanova.
Casanova. Check out its sign, that sounds awesome. It's just the same. Oh, wait. Not that long ago, she was in retirement, but she recently came back for a comeback. Is that so? Sonia, she started singing again. You said it like you know her or something. Shouldn't you know her and show her a little more respect? Sorry, it's just that she's my friend. What? No way! You're friends with her? I can't believe it. I'm so jealous.
So,
I knew so.
how long did Sonia actually retire for?
2 months, according to this.
But, so,
I think.
2 months had passed since the end of the game. So you're saying she retired, and then she just came back like a couple days ago in game, or like?
I don't know. I think so. I knew
Okay.
Sonia was famous, but I didn't know she was that famous. So that's why. Look, aim at transmitting waves. They might lead us to the wave world.
Jesus.
Yes. A mega display.
I'll take
For
it to the
Mega
wave
Man.
room.
A young girl and a boy in our mystery house. Shadows of horror that creep up slowly and silently from behind. The mega thriller that shook all of Netopia is finally here. Ghost Crisis. Can you stand the terror? So you are afraid of ghosts, right? That's not true. It's got some mega waves from. I told you guys that the waves would be stupid. It could mean the end of the world. No, I didn't mean for real. We didn't have EM waves. If we didn't have EM waves, it could happen. Okay, cool. EM waves makes the people's lives comfortable. We can't even get around or go shopping without them. We should be grateful we can use them.
We absolutely could do all these things without EM waves, though.
I wonder where's my rank power. I'm 30 years old.
I'm still going to primary school. I never graduated.
I've worked at Waza, you know.
I forget.
I
What's the
forgot.
pun?
I forgot.
Oh,
It's the guy from the first game. Or at least the
Got it.
same name. The guy who hypnotized himself to not remember where a space module was crash landed, so that aliens couldn't find it and invade Earth. That's I
As you
forgot.
do.
And also in the memes he says he's 30 years old. Well, that's just an edit. I want to raise my link power. You know what my grandson said? He said if people with high link powers levels, link power levels. God damn it! Just say high link power. Are popular at school. I want to be popular. Oh, I just needed to talk to everyone? Huh. We still got time to kill before the movie. Well then, let's go check out Eiffel.
Did you just realize it was Eiffel Tower?
I forgot and then remembered. Shall we?
Eiffel Tower, that's an excellent idea, Prince. The motherfucker of motherfucking says Eiffel Tower is the tallest building in the country.
The tallest in the country now. That we have to see.
If anyone has got to see it, it's that.
Why?
This building, it's real tall, right? Maybe you can learn a thing or two about getting taller.
Ooh, this writing, I swear.
Or you're trying to drive me to alcoholism.
Yeah.
Or you're generally trying to
That's
drive me to
impossible.
alcoholism.
Besides, I'm more than happy with my current height.
Take it easy, guys. So, where is the Eiffel Tower at?
The thing says that it should be close by, this way.
The Fuckipedia?
Wait, he has custom wallpapers?
Of course he has a custom wallpaper.
Oh, that's an ego. Also, she is brothers with her mom.
That sounds like a country song.
Well, one of the things, she's brothers with her mom.
I know.
Last game, she had two parents. She had a father.
He died on his way back to Dick Planet. Of course, it's food.
Yeah, of course it is. Oh, we have those. Maybe I should just become brothers with, to get high link power and just get the stuff. And then just unequip them. I could do barrier, but it's... Sure. Huh. It's not while they're vibrating. Huh. I wonder when the counter window is on this thing. Oh well. This antenna keeps the building connected to the world. Sure.
If that cable is disconnected, the building just starts flying away.
Yeah, when is the counter window in that thing? $390 Zenny. A mysterious entrance. What is this entrance? It's so dark, I can't see inside.
Yeah.
Who's there?
My, what a peculiar boy. Your body is all yams. I am Mother Hills, the fortune teller. Yeah. But if you have no business here, be gone.
Fuck.
Like I said, it's some bad writing in these woods.
Bad right in the wild woods.
Someone say Wild Woods?
Yes.
No, the woofy woods.
Alright. Is that similar to Werewolf Woods?
My dude, did you forget about Wolf Woods being a boss in the first game?
Well, I know.
Okay.
I remember.
The Werewolfy Woods.
So, you said that that's the Ephemian version
Wolf
of
is
that.
the Ephemian he fuses with.
Okay. And he's in this game, probably
No.
at some point.
No, he
No.
isn't. Nope.
And why are they giving you the image?
Because it's from all three games, and he shows up in the third game.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that this... Because I was thinking this was like purely just the second game. But if you're
No,
saying
this
that
is
no
from
one-
the collection.
Got it.
It's just icons they just give you for the collection.
I'm like, technically the third game wouldn't be out yet if this was a normal
Yeah, did you? Okay. In the original version, you could just draw whatever you wanted. And you could also just set your messages to whatever you wanted, including your name. So yeah, you can probably tell what happened with that.
I can imagine a couple scenarios.
Oh, double counter. Huh.
Wow, it didn't even get an upgraded version.
Oh, no, only if it's big.
Are the big ones, like, very specially located?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like you can just get them anywhere.
Any game, collect 20 mega weapons. What?
Achievement.
I didn't collect a mega weapon. Did I? I think the game is kind of confused.
I think they're saying mega weapons as in weapon, like 20 different types?
No.
For Mega Man?
I'll take a look. No? No? Weird. I think it's bugged.
Now, will this guy say beep beep?
I'm putting in 110% to make sure visitors to Wilshire Hills know the true awesomeness of Sonia Strum's music. 3 cheers for Sonia. Hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, hip hip hooray, beep beep. Hey. They did the thing.
He's forced to say it because Hawk would kill him if not.
This monitor displays all the latest news from Wilshire Hills. Everyone, get around and check what's the haps? Oh, the happenings. In the hills. Beep beep.
I hate when people shorten things was like, you know, happening to haps.
Look, if it's in a sentence like the hips and the haps, I can understand, but the haps
I still hate it.
In defense, happenings is like 3 full syllables, haps is 1. It saves a lot of time. Like, I don't like when people abbreviate words that are like already 1 syllable. So you're like, you're not even doing anything by saying that.
Yeah.
But if it's like a longer word and you're abbreviating, I'm like, yeah, I can understand it. That makes sense.
Can I interest you in a Hertz wallpaper? I'll knock a nice chunk of zenny off the price. How does 3,000 zenny sound? No. You're gonna wish you had bought it.
Attack music stores.
Wait, is it like a wallpaper for like this?
Yes. Yes. That's a thing.
Well, we do need.
You have to
later.
you have to collect all 300 wallpapers to 100% the game.
I am Link Power Door 100. I am now analyzing your link power. You don't have enough link power. This door will be open to you when your link power reaches 100.
Wow, I can't believe Ivor Got has link power 100 and you don't.
Congratulations, your link power is 100 or greater. You may pass. V-charge? Okay.
Yeah, fuck you, Megaman.
Megaman's like, oh cool, Geo's on. Oh, never mind.
Where is it? Is it on the Mega? Yeah, equip abilities. So, this is one of those abilities. If you have link power, damn that I even had to say it like that. You can equip the abilities for the remaining amount you have. So, this costs me 90 link power, and my charge shot
US
hits on the
dollars?
V pattern. Huh?
90p USD.
90 power used.
Okay. Like it looks like USD as in like the American dollar.
Yeah, I gotcha. It's just that they had to work within the constraints and they didn't clean up the script for, whatchamacallit, for this release. Uh-oh. Oh, I panicked so hard.
Yeah. You're not getting the high value reward now.
Eh. I already have those cards, so fine. Oh, huh. Oh, firing. Oh no, I already have that.
Stay on top of the building. That's very safe. I was just like, Chino! Chino, get down!
Joe, no, you've still got so much to live for. Okay, that's actually really
You think?
Oh no, wait, you said get down. Suddenly he just gyrates in the air. It's a very old meme. Hey, it's Metars! Big Metars.
Let's go. That was the easiest
I
kill.
think he dies.
Grand Wave, 2 stars. And now we can put
it
that in. And now it deals 70 damage. So it's just that the big ones are over here? Is that the case?
I think it was they were on that specific walkway up.
Yeah, I think so too. Oh. I already have so many of those. Why do you give me even more? Ooh, double.
Attack's actually really good at this point.
Hmm?
That wave attack is very good at this point.
Grand Wave, yeah. It tries to home in on one enemy that sees anything.
I think so. You found it on that other one.
Oh.
You found it on this one. I don't know if that
Or if that what?
Yeah, I don't know if it was like just localized to this specific one or if it's like this whole area.
I have no idea. Okay, I'm getting a bit bored by this.
I think they tagged 100 for that one. Oh.
Oops. Oh! Don't know how that happens. Sure.
Alright.
Where is the wave hole? Where is it? No.
Did 2 have the ability to move the camera like this? Or
Nope.
that, like,
Nope.
none of them did?
Nope. People were very happy when that came out. And also being able to disable the encounter rate because, oh boy.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the encounter rate is rough.
I mean, you don't even have like a leveling system, it's just the cards, basically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, encounters don't, random encounters don't really help you.
So this is Eiffel Tower.
You were in Palace the whole time.
I mean, they do have an Eiffel, the Tokyo Tower in Japan.
Yeah.
Talk about tall.
Do you know why?
Creep, 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 creep. Huh? Oh, they even. Ah! Ah!
Where did you?
The
Tell me
Eiffel
he's
Tower.
not holding an actual like scepter.
He has
or,
a
like,
cane. Yes.
Oh.
He is that a bowler hat? I don't really know, but still. The Eiffel Tower, Eiffel Tower is not known. It's just not just known for being tall. It's also known for being girthy. It's also a gigantic EM wave transmitter. If you catch my drift.
I think I may have just vomited.
It's all the EM waves in the country I controlled right here at Eiffel Tower. Eiffel Tower. You might say it's an EM terminal. Who is this guy?
For this character, you should just have, instead of saying EM, just say M. Every time,
Yeah.
make it more annoying.
That is what I am going for. Exactly. Hey kid, put on your visualizer for a sec, then take a look at the building. Okay, sure. Ah.
There's a gun.
Tons of EM waves. It seems like this here building really is an EM wave terminal. I just remembered that the TV at home was receiving waves, and they were coming from Eiffel Tower. So... the Eiffel Tower is the most important facility in the country. And do you know why, boys and girls?
I know. It's because a society can't function without EM waves, right?
Precisely. This is the sort of all of the country's M waves needs. Is something wrong? I want you to picture something for me. Picture a world where this building no longer exists.
Why not, man?
It's a big city, Zach, so there are all types of nutjobs around. Forget about him. We still have lots to see.
The Zachopedia didn't have any entry on this van?
That's odd.
I heard this is the tallest building in the country.
Who the heck was that guy? I don't like him.
Wait, can you go back to Zach? What's his background on his card look like again? Oh, it's books.
Books.
Because I could tell what the others were, but I couldn't tell what his was from that small.
It looks like something that someone just left behind, but it's actually some fancy piece of art. I think it's just a waste of space. I can hear the face palms. These coin-operated binoculars are old, but thanks to EM waves, they let you see far. I'm sensing a minute amount of EM radiation. Let's come back later. It looks like something left behind, but it's actually fan speed of ours. I think it's a waste of space.
He thinks a lot of things are a waste of space. Let me guess, waste of space? Yeah.
Is Omega waste of space?
Huh. I cannot wave change there. A miniature Eiffel Tower. Doesn't really make much sense to have a mini Eiffel Tower when the real one is standing right there. Yeah. Aren't you gonna check out the Eiffel Tower? Sure.
Yeah.
Attention guests! Thank you for coming to Eiffel Tower. Due to the number of guests today, there will be no more admissions into Eiffel Tower today. We apologize for this inconvenience. So I can't go in? It's a popular tourist spot, oh well. I know we have a lot of time before the movie starts, but we might as well head over there. It's in the Wilshire Hills shopping plaza. I know exactly what's gonna happen here.
The future should be in this building.
Okay, we're going in now. Any second
Thankful
now.
Thankful he didn't see Zachopedia.
Yikes!
What happened, Bud?
But you don't have to shout. Everyone knows we're not from around. We'll know we're not from around here.
It's gone!
Huh?
My ticket, it's gone.
do you mean it's gone?
I had it here in my pocket just a minute ago.
You must have dropped it somewhere.
This is not good. This is not good at all. Without my ticket, I can't eat popcorn.
Hey, I'm gonna give you a little secret. There's nothing that says you can't go to a theater and get popcorn and not see
Exactly.
a movie.
Yeah.
Is popcorn really that important right now?
What should I do?
It won't be easy to find it in such a big place like this.
Yeah.
Oh, wait here.
What?
You guys go on without me. I bet you guys waited and lost my ticket. I'm just causing problems.
But that's not...
You guys go enjoy it without me. It'll be better this way.
Oh, Bud, what are we gonna do with you? You do cause problems for us, and often. That's why your grades never improve.
Is this supposed to be inspirational?
Yes. Also, superiority complex much? Prez?
That's a little harsh.
Oh, she's right. That's why you should just forget about me and flagellate me.
Bud! I'm the one who should be kink-shaming you. That's why I wonder what to do with you. I can't just ignore you, can I? We're friends, we're also brothers. I just care how good the movie is. If you're not here there, it's not worth seeing.
Whoa, Press, thank you.
Prez is right. We can see it together.
We just won't see it right from the very beginning. We'll split up and look for that ticket.
Yeah, you guys, thank you so much. You're the best friends a guy could ever have.
So, do you guys know about foreshadowing? Foreshadowing is a literary device. It's a literary device.
For the love of God, can they please just kill Bud? Or Buck, or what the fuck his name is.
There's something over there.
How?
Oh! It's but ticket. The wind must have blown it over there. But how can we get over there?
Hey, kid. What was that board thing we saw flying around before?
Oh, that's a skyboard.
Why don't you get yourself one to fly over there?
There's no place I could get one of those.
You don't say. Well, here's what you do. Look around for someone with a skyboard. Then take it.
Oh, no. Out of the question, Mega. Still, using a skyboard to get over there is a pretty good idea. I'll try to find someone and has one and see if I can borrow it. No?
I know.
Yeah,
you
it's
have
the
to do it.
creep.
Yeah.
Yep, that's why I was retching.
What you want?
Actually,
You wanna borrow my skyboard? I don't know, kid. It's pretty expensive. I can just let it lend it out to anyone you know.
oh, okay.
Hold on a sec. I've got an idea.
Oh, I don't even know what kind of slime pies was it.
What do you get about this? If you do this for me, I'll let you borrow it.
Do what exactly?
There's a girl I've been trying to go on a date with me. This girl's smoking, I tell ya.
She's on fire?
No. Smoking, kid. Smoking as in cute.
Okay, that was very autism coded, not gonna lie. And I don't really like it when people say something is autism, but...
Jeez, Gio. Read the room.
Yeah.
Can't make an impression on her. What she likes. I want you to find it out. I just love. If a kid asks her.
Oh, that was it.
If a kid asks her, she won't have a guy. We'll tell you.
But I don't know what to say.
You've never hit on a girl before? Don't worry. I'll tell you what you need to say. And that's what it takes.
Are you crazy?
Hey, everyone's shy at first. Oh look, she got away while we were talking. You gotta go find her. Good luck, kid.
Oh, yeah, she moved from her spot.
Book. Yeah, she's probably like, what the fuck? He's talking to children now, run.
She's
think
like,
you'll,
I'm going to the nearest police officer and reporting him.
Yeah. Oh, she's right down there. And there. And there.
And where?
Right by the base, looking at that advertisement. Oh, there she is again, next to that kid.
But also, there's the guy. There's the guy.
Exactly. Yeah, the first time I was playing, that stuck out as a sword bomb. Like a sword bomb. Where did she go off to? Oh, there she is. Can I help you?
Wow, okay, it is not actually that often a game has actually dialogue has driven me to alcoholism, but I actually feel like I need a fucking whiskey just to cope.
Look at this profile. No? Okay. Dislikes.
I saw. Yeah, I saw.
I saw. I'm trying to think of the name and how it's a pun.
Hill Knitter? Haley Knitter? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know either.
I'm not cut out for this.
Just use this line.
I can't.
Just do it already.
Alright. Breathe in and out. Excuse me, miss. What kind of guy do you like? In and out. In and out. In and out. In and out. She's ignoring me. I feel weird all of a sudden. Why?
Feels like we lost a fight without getting it.
Emotional damage.
Emotional damage! Now what?
I think I've got an idea.
You know some good lines that'll work on this lead?
No. You need to find out some info on this girl, some dirt. If you wave change, you can do that easily. We can hack her social media accounts.
Wave change? Okay, I'll give it a shot. Yup. We are breaking into people's personal devices.
Ew, against stealing a hoverboard. Also due. Oh yeah, hacking into someone's device to find more information about them so I can hit on them. That's perfectly acceptable.
I'm still laughing that Geo still thinks he has to say Geo Stellar on the air every time.
Yeah.
We've got to get a look inside that chick's star carrier. Coming for you from you, that's so bad.
That feels so bad. Smoking, I tell ya, I'm Birchwood. Okay. Mega, what were you saying a while back?
Let's take a look into this guy's star carrier. Didn't you get a flashback or anything with C-Pattern or something?
How?
Simple, kid. Now that we have wave change, we can easily go into the star carriers of anyone around us. Pretty easily, you know. There's probably some info in there that nobody else can see.
That's probably not a good idea.
Don't worry, nothing bad is gonna happen.
Well, no.
They actually just dropped it. I'm impressed. I'm so used to games going like you say no to it one of the times and they're like, but you don't actually mean that, right?
This isn't what's inside a star carrier. It's pretty spacious in here. Let's see if we have any interesting data.
Mega? I don't think it's a good idea to look for someone's star carrier, do you?
Why, it's not like we're gonna do anything bad.
That's not what I meant, it's just...
Whoa, I found me some diary data.
Fine, just do whatever you do want then. Date XXXXX, I think my tastes are a bit peculiar. It turns out that I have a thing for anyone with a high link power.
Well then, let's go to tell that guy the news. Wonder what he'll say.
What's wrong?
You just notice something inside the star carrier. The color of someone's personal view changes according to how they're feeling. For example, people are worried or have doubts have a red background. Whoa. If we find someone with a red background, we should peek into the star carrier and see what's bothering them. Oops, got sidetracked. Let's go. That guy. Let's go tell that guy what kind of man this girl likes.
Yep, side quests
Again,
are also in discount.
so these stock arrows basically came out in the last, what, 2 months, timeline-wise?
Yep.
How are they so ingrained in society already?
Well, they're basically just upgraded transfers, and transfers were pretty pretty integrated.
Yeah.
I know, but what about the social credit aspects? Like, what?
Did you ask her? What's her type?
Well, she likes guys with high link power.
Serious? Nah. She wouldn't talk to me because my link power is not that high. Guess we need to. I read an article about it somewhere. Women these days look less about looks and charm and more about link.
Nice guys always finish last.
Sorry, it didn't work out.
Well, don't count me out yet. All I gotta do is raise my link power and make another play. Well, a deal's a deal. Here's the skyboard. You can have it, kid. Okay, time to get that link power.
You just
Alright,
gave
hurry up
a
and do it.
skyboard that he even said was extremely expensive to just some random kid.
I'm not doing anything anyways.
Come on, let's try it out already.
Do you want to use the skyboard?
You got it, kid.
You might as well use it.
We want to use it.
Metawave! Skyboard, stand by.
You can use this anywhere, at any time, or only
No.
when the game allows you to.
Only when the game allows me to.
Oh.
I'm ready, so now I... Materialize! Skyboard. Whoa. This is awesome. It's actually real. Yeah.
You're ready there.
Whoa, it talks.
What, you
Oh
didn't
god,
know?
it talks.
You are so out of the loop. Oh, by the way, items talk. By the way, I'm Ollie.
I called that this was Rotom before, and I was so right that I didn't know it.
It is a Rotom. They all have faces. They can all talk. They are all objects.
I'm a red ride, ain't I? Yeah. Yeah.
Nice to meet you. I've never ridden the skyboard before. You think it's safe?
If you've got the motion, I've got the locomotion. Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta feel the ride. Become the ride and you can ride all day. Yeah.
I'll try.
Immediately falls.
Yeah. You've got no motion.
Yes, I do. We're moving. A little.
What you talking about? Like that? At this place, it will be tomorrow before we get anywhere.
A few minutes later.
Now you've got the motion, dude.
Woohoo! That's awesome. I just need to reach out. Geo God, Bud's ticket. Okay, let's head back now. Do you know what the funny thing is? Okay, we gotta get this ticket back to Bud.
Yeah. There's a wave
you
road.
could've just wave roaded it.
Yeah. Also, that thing with the propeller was kind of inconsistent because... Geo is made of EM waves when he transforms. How the hell did he pick up that propeller?
Because the propeller was made into EM waves too.
Sure, buddy.
Oh, it's my ticket.
Geo gives Bud's ticket to Bud. Okay.
Yes, your lifesaver, Geo. Thanks.
Good job finding it, Geo. That was lucky for you, Bud.
Thanks for looking out for me, Prez.
Just didn't look at your ticket again, okay? Now you can finally get into the theater.
And then Zach's gonna be like, "Oh no, I lost my ticket." Is this a theater or a Verizon?
Yes.
Welcome to the shopping plaza. You can catch all of the latest trendy fashions here first. Today we are having a special campaign. Customers with 50 link power or more receive a distinguished gift. I'm sorry you didn't have enough link power. We do look forward to your next visit. Come again.
We'll call you Pool.
He just literally sees you go into your phone. Boop, 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 boop. All right, what about now?
Just max hit points. Yeah, what about now? Also, he's ninja. Huh. Okay.
Ah.
Nice.
Interesting.
What's really cutting edge about the Star Carrier is the fact that it can hold all kinds of data, and you can carry the data around, of course. That includes metawaves. You can materialize a TV or car wherever you win, whenever you... Oh, I just remembered something. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, you will see if
no.
you see it. Hello and welcome to the Star Carrier store, where we link you up and hook you up and send you on your way. Second floor information board. Metawave fair going on now. See the brand new models on display up in the theater. A Metawave skyboard. With this you can zoom around the sky without a care in the world. A Metawave scooter. The cutting edge, the cute design on it is a hit with the young ladies.
Oh,
A
yeah.
Metawave sports car. Its stylish lines are what all the young guys are all talking about.
Yeah. Is that what I think it is?
Aurora Borealis contains in this shopping center right here, right now.
On the second floor.
Yes. Hmm? Oh, hey, what are you doing, Geo? Mr. Boreal, it's been a while. You know, you look more and more like your dad every time I see you. Really? You think? I was good friends with your dad, so I can really see the resemblance. What are you doing here, Mr. Boreal? You already know about the Star Carrier. Can I take it? I take it? Oh. That's something to do with its invention.
Of course.
Sure
it
you
is.
do, pal.
Learning.
Learning. Also 650 link power. That's what I was focusing on. Also rockets. He really wants to have the human race eradicated by rockets.
Yeah, but
Really? That's so cool.
Is the Skynet.
Yeah, he's the evil bad guy in disguise. It was no biggie. The second floor of the shopping plaza is an official Star Carrier store. I survey the customers' reactions to the Star Carriers whenever I'm here. As soon as I make it, I want to know if people like it or not. I can understand that. If you ever need help with your Star Carrier, come and ask me. Is there something you want to know about? No.
You've been reduced to a tutorial.
Yeah. Oh. Welcome to the theater. May I see your pick tickets, please? Gio and his friends have handed over their movie tickets.
I'm sorry,
Singular.
this movie's not available.
Thank you. The name of the film is Ghost Crisis. This movie was made using the latest 3D Eon Wave technology. We hope you enjoy the high-quality images produced by the waves. Also, any customer with a link power of 1000 can view the film from our special royal seating area. Over 1000? None of us has a link power that high. Press is the highest and she's only at 80. I would
Not
so
very high at
love
all.
to sit in a special royal seat.
Wait, she's only at 80? Because remember when we were walking around town and there was that one guy, the one who says he wanted to be popular, Ivor Gott? Remember? He was at 180 himself. So I was like, oh, Prez has to be at least like 500.
She is only with the posse. She is deeply unpopular with everyone in school, I presume.
But she gets discounted bus tickets.
Look. The line has fallen on hard times. They have to promote the line somehow, and they have to exploit some idiots some way. But today we'll just have to settle for regular seats. Okay, let's go in. That was a pointless shift. Dang! Dong!
I was expecting you to voice that line after it already did it.
We will now begin our feature film, because it's not a ding-dong. This is gonna be scary. What should we do? You're not scared, are you? Do you really believe for rumors that ghosts actually haunt this place? No, but...
Wow, I'm so glad I can see everything all the way from back here.
Is that a real person?
No, it isn't. It's like the stupid pedia says it's an EM wave. They can make a solid human shape using meta waves. The same goes for the building in the background.
I don't believe the Zakopedia is real. I think he just calls himself that.
Yeah.
He
Only EM waves. You can't even tell. Except for the ominous goddamn glow. Did you hear that noise?
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
Something's wrong. Whoa, it's a little scary.
Oh no, it's all ghosts.
Come on, let's leave. Yeah, let's. Yeah.
Gio, put on the goggles.
Gio, shoot them.
This is creepy.
No, Zach, you're
No.
creepy.
I think my
is
heart's
this-
going to burst.
Is this the first time we've seen all of these sitting models from the NPCs?
Yes. Also, that slouch on Geo, Jesus. You're back. Oh my god. Also, look at the Minecraft businessman over there.
Oh my god.
Is that Steve from the Minecraft?
But
No,
yeah, he
it's-
looks blocky as
it's
all
Hero
shit.
Brian.
Damn.
Run away!
Ooh, chasing humans is fun. Ooh.
Hold it right there. You're through, Acto Crepes.
Ooh, what's this? A human thinks he can frighten us. It's the other way around, Flashman. Ooh.
Ha ha ha, I'm not your run-of-the-mill human. I'm the Ghost Duster. Ghost Vacuum on.
Ooh.
But chop.
Yeah.
Legally distinct Ghost Duster.
Yes.
Ah.
You just got dusted.
Whoa, that ghost vacuum was awesome. I want to be a ghost duster when I grow up.
No, I think I would make a better candidate for the job. You can always be the ghost, though.
Hold up. I definitely would make a better Ghost Duster. What is this conversation? Have you guys forgotten is this just fiction? Boys are so silly sometimes. Yep. Yeah, I agree, Prez. Yeah. Act 1 of our feature is finished. Please enjoy a 15 minutes intermission before Act 2 begins. Another one?
Hey, now would be a good time to get some popcorn. Tasty popcorn. Mmm.
Scary movies like these make me thirsty.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, let's all go to the lobby. I will be ending it on a specific point.
Art.
It's a really big seed. I wonder why it has this heart symbol on it. Could it be for really? It could be for really big people, right? What a mystery. Yeah, what a mystery. I'm sending a minute amount of EM radiation. Let's come back later and investigate. Yeah, I knew this was one of those things.
Also, where is the royal viewing platform that they said?
I think that is this one.
Oh, really? I see. Oh,
Let's
so
all go
someone
to the
had
lobby and get ourselves a treat.
if someone had high enough link power, they would be attacked or possessed or something, right?
What?
If that's the one, right? No?
That was so bad. I actually have. I've actually poured myself whiskey.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, that was awful.
Hello, hello. You can buy anything from this stand. Right now, you can
Hello,
buy a
guys.
working replica of the vacuuming Ghost Crisis. What do you think? It's made from a Wanta Wave. Really? What fun. I kinda want one. That'll be 10,000 zenny. I need to look at my cash out if I have enough. That's pricey. That's because it's a super legendary edition replica. If you paid attention to the last game, you know what kind of character would be standing here in the future.
Oh!
Legendary!
Oh no.
Nah, it's okay. I'll just have an orange juice. OJ. This is all needed. Guess I'll go back to my seat. That's the guy. Lady Vega, are you watching? Your servant Hyde is about to begin. This will be the greatest horror film of all time!
Oh, this is a Wendy's. What's he on about?
Sir, this is a Wendy's.
So she was like, "Hey, I want to do world domination." He's like, "Absolutely, I'll help you with that." What's step one? Going into a random theater and making it scarier by messing with the stuff. Okay.
And somehow that's gonna take down the giant M-wave emitter.
I know. I'm just like, okay. I'm not sure what you were thinking.
He was at Eiffel Tower before. Dang dong. We will now conclude our feature film. Wow, I set up wrong. Please return to your seats. I better hurry up.
Gio, where's your juice?
Yeah, good question. Probably in his pockets. Dang dong.
Like he ate the cup as well as trying to.
You made me imagine Gio having like no cup, but just a pocket filled with sloshing orange juice.
Oh my
That
God.
is even worse than I thought about. And now we hope you enjoy the conclusion of the film.
Oh. Oh no, please, Mr. Ghost. Please don't.
Ghostbuster, please help me.
Oh no, Mr.
Screaming won't
Ghost.
bring back the ghost dolls.
Oh no, Mr. Gustasto, there's Myrtle Ghosts here, and I'm all alone. It would be so bad if someone could suck them off.
Something wrong, or is this part of the movie? It's so dark I can't see a thing.
The lights are back on.
Hey,
Where'd the picture go?
ladies and gentlemen.
It's me, Yoshi.
Tonight is your lucky night, because you will be treated to a one-time showing of a very special horror film. Murmur, murmur, murmur. A one-time showing? A one-time showing? It didn't say that on the second. Hey kid, hey yo kid. That guy ain't one of the movie's effects. That's a full-on EM being. Really? A film written, directed, and starring yours truly, the Dark Phantom.
So
This will be a
you
story
can see
for
he's
the
a
ages.
phantom of the opera.
Oh, now let the picture presentation begin. Ah. Murmur, murmur, murmur.
Those don't look like the other ghosts.
Oh my. Those are viruses, kid. Yeah, viruses? Here? What on earth could he be doing with them?
You in the audience prepare to be frightened. What?
Okay, so are they planning on like murdering people, or is he just doing this for the shits? For the lulz?
What's going on? Ah! Ow.
Meow?
Grandpa, I'm scared. Elfin, help us.
What in the heck is this?
This can't be real.
Let's get out of here. Lady Vega, are you enjoying the film? The screams of these foolish humans filled the theater. It is exactly as you had envisioned it. Pardon me.
So how is this part
I'm
of the
enjoying
master plan?
myself too much. But I
This
still
is
require
exactly
lovely
as
heroine for our
Lady Vega
feature
did.
film. Huh?
Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sorry,
Lady
this is-
Vega envisioned it.
Lady Vega going like, you know, I was being metaphorical, not literal.
Yeah.
God damn it, hide.
And the count has yet to be cast. I will cast one of you for the role. Found her. The lovely
Oh
lady
no,
there.
not Luna.
Huh? Me? You fit the role. Huh? The pros?
Witchy.
Help me! The film's climax will take place up the top of the Eiffel Tower. Be sure to stay still till the unfortunate Shelby's a surprise ending. I encourage all of you to be there. If you can. Ooh, Rose!
He's gone.
What's going on? What was that masked man? I don't know, but his power was off the hook. That's as much as I got.
Still have to go after him.
Whoa, this isn't a new you. Sure you ain't scared?
I am, but Prez is in trouble, so I don't have time to be scared. And that's not all. I know that if something were to happen to me, Prez would be the first one there trying to rescue me. No, actually. She would just send her posse and then just saunter over 5 minutes later, after everything is done and over with.
And then call you an idiot.
Yeah.
Gee, are you done acting out now?
That's why I have to go.
Hurry. We gotta get to the top. Up Eiffel Tower. Why is that spaced like that?
Oh no, not Mr. Ghosty Ghost.
This is the
Oh,
apartment
that's
building
so-
the main characters move into just before the incident starts. Ah!
Get a hold of yourself.
Geo canonically.
God damn it, Joe. We
This is the
don't
main
have
characters
any.
wander into there. They come face to face with a terror they like never seen before. Ah!
Hey kid, get a grab.
I think Geo's scared of houses.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting from this.
Yeah, I'm just
Oh,
also these
that-
ghosts that don't.
Oh no, the viruses are so deadly. I can walk right
Phase
through
through
them.
Hey, what are those guys doing with the prize? Hey!
You see, you have you have to. You see, for Bud, you have to use a food metaphor. So
Where
you
is
can-
this ghost coming from?
Oh, it would be better if
Beep,
they
beep.
still offered
This is
you.
the wave station.
Yeah,
It broadcasts
if
all
they still
manner of
offer you,
data
like-
to star carriers everywhere. Beep beep. Sorry, there's no data being transmitted at this time. Please come back another time.
Beep beep. I'm a sheep. I said beep.
You can
beep,
become
I'm
bro-
a sheep.
brothers with none other than first Mega Man. Would you like to use the wave station? Please come again. Yeah, why have like that?
Oh, this is a pickle.
What's going on?
The elevator's lost power. I think all those ghosts are responsible.
So we can't even get used right now?
Yeah, but this is why we have auxiliary power. I just got to turn it on first.
How can we turn it on?
I think the auxiliary power switch is around here somewhere. I just started working, so I'm not too sure where. Was it on the first floor?
Somewhere on the first floor. Yeah, I think I'm gonna
This is just a scenario, and it's gonna take a while before we get to hide in Eiffel Tower because we're locked in here. So I
know.
also I need to watch the time, so I think I'll just stop it from here. Thank you all for watching, although I think it was just one person who was still left here. Actually, can I see that?
And
Yeah, one
both
viewer.
myself.
Yeah. Oh well, thank you all for watching. Have a good night, and see ya.